Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Mediumcore. Because I've said I've finished the base, I'm now going to expand it, therefore unfinishing it. Oops. In this episode I want to expand the roadway, give it a slight curve out this way and then go straight this way. And then once it gets to about here where these trees are, I'll have to cut them down. Then I'll turn it and have it extend right the way through here, making room for big builds on both sides of the road and allowing me to connect up to this kind of pathway here into the overgrown wheat field. So this will be the first true expansion of the base since let's just say in a long time, because everything I've built has been based off of a previous area except for when I built this L-bend here. It was the most recent time I truly expanded the base, and that was probably a couple months ago by now. So yeah, it's time to give myself more work. Before, this road only led to a prison. What a terrible road to follow. But now, it turns. Now it follows this little curve, goes down here, straight, so we can have something in this big old space, something back here, turns again, something along here, something small right here, path up to the farm, something small, well, something decently big here, something decently big here, boom, big old space for a big old mansion. The path is laid quite literally to make a much more developed, much larger area on this side of the base. And I can connect it up to the farm finally. But it's all in place. Oddly enough, the longest part of making this road was actually starting. It took like maybe 20 minutes, half an hour to put this all in. But it took me like a couple days to decide that I finally wanted to do it, because I'm lazy. But I think it was worth it. I think it looks as good as it can be, considering that it wasn't a planned offshoot, so it doesn't blend quite as well as I would like it to, but there's no other place to put it other than right here. But I still don't think it looks bad. And I do like, once you hit this point, it's fine because it's just its own thing at that point. This part I'm not entirely happy with because just how the terrain was, it looks a bit weird. Well, that's okay. And then here it just gets a bit rough. And then up here we'll have something big. And this road will essentially become a driveway. Or, well, walkway, I suppose. Trotway for horses. But yeah, now all I gotta do is slap in all the lampposts and connect it up to that. And technically that's the road done. Now it's starting to look like a road. I've got all the lamps in place and I've connected it up to the little pathway for the farm. It just kind of fades out from the path blocks to more and more dirt, to some gravel into the cobble of the road. And then lamps are just lamps, nothing really special to say there. All along the curve, all the way back to meeting up with the main road. Actually wasn't as many as I thought there were, but still quite a few. But either way, this is now an official, complete extension of the roadway and therefore of the base. Honestly, I think it does look pretty good. I was checking it out from the tower a little while ago, and it just honestly just fits right in with the base. I think it doesn't look like it stands out a lot, but it still is separate, which is what I wanted to go for. But it like connects the base, because now it's connecting this, and all of this. And soon, so much more. So yeah, I'm glad I did this, and I can't wait to see how all this goes. I'm really liking how this is turning out so far. Here I see the start of something great. In the future, all of this will be filled in, and the base will be almost twice the size, maybe about 1.5 times the size. Either way, big extension, and I can't wait, because did some planning out of future builds, and I think it is going to look amazing. Of course, I just did some rough outlines. Sizes most likely won't stay in any of the builds, maybe in some. Shapes won't stay in most of them as well. Some positions might even change, just none of it's set in stone. It's just a simple guide of where I want there to be general builds. Most of them are a lot bigger than builds that I'm used to making, but some of them aren't terribly large, like these ones right here, because there isn't a lot of space to build. But I did plan out some stuff. First one, something right here, doesn't necessarily have to be right here, and I'm kind of tempted to have it go another block farther and then curve out over here. So further testimony that none of this is set in stone, but I think it'd be good to have a build here since now there's just a big gap. I want to have something small here, maybe just a little house for these people, or maybe even a market stall instead. I don't know, not quite sure what this is going to be yet. This I kind of want to be like a large carriage house, since obviously the town is expanding and expanding, so we need a way for the rich and powerful to get around without getting their shoes dirty. So this would be like a carriage house, and then a small little build here, and this is the only one I actually have a plan for, and this shape is actually going to stay, because what I want to make is like a museum or archive kind of thing. Mostly quartz building, representative of like marble, and then have it be like a colonnade around the outside, extending into the main build, and then in the center, a dome on top. And I think that'll look cool. I hope it looks cool. It looks cool in my head, but I'm not very great at building. Over here, not quite sure what this is going to be, just a bigger building. Maybe a bakery, perhaps, since we've got the wheat field here. This is going to be a small little barn, probably, for the farmers. Across the way, maybe a little flower store, or like herb store, herbologist's residence. Over here, probably a house for a gardener, and then here I extended the path and made a second archway into the little pond area, so this is now accessible from both sides of the base. It also means now there's a through and through, so you don't have to go all the way around every time. And I do want to get at least one more axolotl. I want to get the brown axolotl, so that I can have one of each. At least I think that's one of each. But moving on. Over on this side of the road, we've got this tiny little house here, and I pictured this as being a home, like a little farmhouse for the farmer, baker, and whatnot. And then back here is the important thing. These builds will actually end up being connected, just not on the ground, because I want this to be like, not a guard tower, but essentially a gatehouse, as this will turn into basically a driveway, and I want these to connect, arch over the road with a big old gate. This would be more tower-esque, and that would be more actual building-esque. And then what I want to do is basically surround this area with a wall, and then create a giant mansion within the wall to be like something for somebody really important. Like if that build over there on the hill is the mayoral mansion, this would be like the summer home of a king. Something very important, very high security, very big build. And I think I honestly want to do that first before I do anything else here. Either that or the museum archive thing. Just because I've done so much small things recently. I crave a big building project. And it's something I want to get done before the end of the series. So I think that's what I'm going to be doing in the next episode, is building up this gatehouse and probably building the foundation of a wall. Not the whole wall yet, since there's not a lot of space, and I want to be able to know how big of a building that I'm going to make before I build a wall, so I don't have to redo the wall, because that's a lot of work. And it'd be easier this way. So that's probably what I'm going to do in the next episode. And with that, that concludes this episode. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.